Ever since Caitlin Clark burst onto the scene in the WNBA, the league has seen astonishing growth and rise in popularity. Would you agree? Her remarkable skills on the court, including her scoring ability, playmaking, and three-point shooting, have showcased the high level of talent in women's basketball, drawing more viewers to the sport. But there is a negative side to Clark's fan base, and popularity increasing lately as well, and it does not look good for the WNBA. Caitlin Clark becoming a sensation in her rookie season with the Indiana Fever has resulted in a significant amount of racist, sexist, and homophobic comments online from people who are posing as Clark's fans, who is white, in a league where the majority of players are black and many are even gay. In fact, rival fans of Caitlin Clark have complained that they have been receiving death threats, and racist abuse from Clark fans in recent times. The Fever star had herself spoken up on the issue not so long ago.
Yeah, it's definitely upsetting. I don't think nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats.
Condemning the acts of her so-called fans who were spreading unnecessary hate in the league. Before tip-off in the Fever's 91-84 win over the Atlanta Dream in June, a reporter from The Athletic asked Clark for her response to the hateful remarks made in her name, to which Clark said, "Yeah, I think it's disappointing. I think everybody in our world deserves the same amount of respect. The women in our league deserve the same amount of respect. People should not be using my name to push those agendas. It's disappointing. It's not acceptable." Although Clark disowned and criticized those who use her name to spew hatred, the WNBA is not seeing any shortages of such incidents lately. One such great example is the challenges that Clark's most fierce rival, Angel Reese, has been facing at the hands of the Fever star's toxic fan base. She revealed that there have been incidents of some rival fans even going so far as to follow her home, making her feel unsafe. Reese was quoted saying on her podcast, Unapologetically Angel, "But when it comes to death threats, I'm talking about people who have come down to my address, following me home. It's come down to that." Reese further went on to disclose some shocking experiences as well. "People have made AI pictures of me naked. They have sent it to my family members. Now that is just too far, isn't it?" And if that was not enough, Reese also revealed that she has been subjected to racial abuse from Clark fans in the past as well. Here's what she had to say. "I think it's really just the fans. Her fans, the Iowa fans, now the Indiana fans that ride for her. And I respect that, but sometimes it's very disrespectful. I think there's a lot of racism when it comes to it, and I don't believe she stands on any of that." Not just Reese. Recently, Connecticut Sun's Dijanai Carrington had to endure something horrible as well. During Wednesday's game between Indiana Fever and the Suns in the WNBA playoffs, which Connecticut won 87-81 in their home arena to seal a 2-0 series victory, there were reports of racist abuse from some in the crowd. Some of the Suns players have also been the subject of abuse online. Clark was left with a black eye in Game 1 of the series after a foul by Dijanai Carrington. Both players say the injury was unintentional. But before Wednesday's game, Carrington shared on social media an email she received which called her a racist slur, before the sender said they hope someone rips you and cuts your head. And what do the experts have to say about this? Well, let's hear what American sports television personality Nick Wright has to say about this. In a monologue on his What's Right podcast on Thursday morning, FS1 host Nick Wright criticized Indiana and the league for not stopping this type of fan rhetoric sooner and called on Clark to speak up more vocally against people who spew racism in her name. Let's take a look at Wright's comments. "You've got this boatload of new fans because Caitlin Clark is box office, but unfortunately, inevitably, and the league should have seen this train coming down the tracks. On that bandwagon were folks that weren't fans of basketball, that weren't even actual fans of Caitlin Clark. They were fans of what they thought Caitlin Clark could represent, which was the humbling of black women. And you've got this cavalcade of open, unabashed racists who tried to put a hood of Caitlin Clark fandom on, and on social internet, and last night in person, tried their best to terrorize her opposition." Now that's quite a revelation from Wright, don't you think? If these people are trying to spread hatred and racism by using Clark's name when they are not even Clark fans, then this happens to be a larger issue, and a change must come sooner in the WNBA before things get messier. So what is your take on the rise in racism, abuse, and death threats from these so-called Clark fans? Would you agree that the league needs to take stricter action? Well, our comments section is always open for your thoughts and views. Let us know what you think.